Hi guys, and welcome back to the Sun Devil Learnings Lab. This is Mrs. Lopez. I'll be teaching you again this week for math, or today for math. If you're new to the Sun Devil Learning Labs, then welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. If you've missed previous videos, you guys can get caught up. This lesson is going to be something new. We're going to be learning about negative numbers today. So let me start here and share my screen so we get started. So today we're going to do intro to negative numbers and number opposites. So we'll go over that, what a negative number is and what a number opposite is as well. So our agenda today is we're going to get our materials. So pause your video now for about 2 minutes or however long it takes you to get your materials. Okay, after you got your materials, we have a joke of the day again. So why did the girl always wear glasses during math class? It improves division. And our objectives today are I can find a negative number and I can find a number opposite. So I want you to repeat the objectives after me and then we'll get started. I can find a negative number. I can find a number opposite. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to do a little bit of review. We have counting numbers. So these are numbers that we normally use to count. We always do 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8. It's all counting numbers. Those are the numbers going up from 0. We have our negative number. A negative number is any number less than 0. So this is, we're going to show you what a negative number is today. And then also we have our number line. Most of you may have already known what a number line is, but to visually see it here, this is your number line. So, introduction to negative numbers. So let's talk about the weather today. So we're actually going to talk about the weather in Celsius today. So we have 3 degrees Celsius. This is the weather today, and someone predicts that tomorrow the weather is going to be 4 degrees less than it was today. So if we talk about Celsius, we know that we have 3 degrees Celsius, and we know that someone is going to predict tomorrow that it is going to be 4 degrees less than it was today. So with it being 4 degrees, we have to go back 4 degrees. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. That brings us to negative 1. So this is when you get into weather and you have negative 1 degrees Celsius, or it depends if you're using Fahrenheit too, but now we're in the negatives. We know that it is below 0. Negative 1 is below 0 right here. So we have our number line. Any number to the right of 0 is going to be positive, and any number to the left of 0 is going to be negative. That means all the numbers to the right of 0 are going to be bigger, and also all the numbers to the left of 0 are going to be smaller. So we have negative 100. In order to show that the number is negative, this sign is in front of it. This is the negative sign. This stands for this is a smaller number than 0. This is negative. It's going to the left of 0. So if we have negative 100, it is much smaller than negative 1, because negative 100 is going to be way down the number line on the left, and negative 1 is right here. So the bigger the negative number, like this, negative 100, the smaller the number is going to be. So we have an example. Let's say I have $20 in my bank account, but I went shopping at the mall and I spent $50. What is my bank account going to look like? So we start off with $20, and then I spent $50. So that means I'm taking away $50. So today I have positive 20. I took away $50 because I went shopping at the mall. So tomorrow I'm going to have negative $30 in my bank account. If in a world where we didn't have extra fees, where we went negative in our bank accounts, it would be just negative $30. So if we use a number line, I'm going to show you. We started off with $20 and I spent $50. So that means I spent 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and got me into the negative 30 because I spent $50 and I didn't have $50. So now I owe the bank $30 because 20 minus 50 equals negative 30. This is where really negative numbers play out in the world. Sometimes we do go negative in our bank accounts, or the weather is negative. It is important to know negative numbers in order to understand how things do work in the world. So now I owe the bank $30. So now in our next example, let's say I have $10 in my bank account, but I had to get a new tire and that costed me $60. And so now what is my bank account going to look like tomorrow? So pause the video and write out your equation for this. You started with positive $10 and you took away $60. What are you going to end up with? Okay, so now that you have your equation and your numbers written down, you should have gotten something like this. Today I had $10. Unfortunately, I had to get a tire because my tire popped while I was driving, and I had to pay $60 to get a new tire. So now I'm negative $50. To visually represent negative $50, I'm going to write out my number line and do my equation. So I started off with $10 and I spent $60 on a new tire. So that means I spent 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. So I should have ended up with negative money, which I ended up with negative $50. Negatives are used in so many different things in life, in the world. We have negative in our bank accounts sometimes. We have negative weather, so like negative 3 degrees Celsius, or something that's really cold in science, negative 50 degrees Celsius, something when there's an explosion, sometimes there's a negative amount of how much energy is used. Also, if you're in a parking garage or in a tall building and you use an elevator, sometimes there's negative on that because you're going underground. Because sometimes in big buildings, especially in downtown Phoenix, if your parking garage is actually below the building that you're going to, and so you're going to be below ground, which that means you're below zero, so you're in a negative level of the parking garage. Sometimes it goes up to -4, sometimes some parking garages are bigger. So now I owe $50. Maybe I borrowed the $60 from a friend, or I borrowed it from the bank, but now I'm negative $50 because 10 minus 60 equals negative 50. So now I'm looking at my number line, and we know that all the numbers to the right of the zero are going to be positive, and all the numbers to the left of the zero are going to be negative. I know we've already gone through this, but it's important for you to visually see this again, because in our next problems, we are going to use a number line to do our subtraction. Then we know that all the numbers to the right of zero are bigger and all the numbers to the left of zero are getting smaller. So what if I had an equation of 4 minus 8? Well, we know that 4 minus 8 equals -4. how can I represent that on my number line? I'm going to use an arrow, and my arrow is going to be starting from 4, and it's going to end at -4. So that's my 8 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I ended at -4, but I started at +4. This also might look familiar too with the previous lesson of doing number opposites, because 4 plus 4 is 8, so we know we have to move 8 spaces according to our 4 minus 8, we're going to the left 8 spaces. When you're looking at a problem and you have 4 minus 8 or 4 minus a number, the minus means that you're going to the left in your number line. So even if I started at 3 and I had -8, I'm still going to the left, because that subtraction symbol means that you're going lower. You're going to the left of the number line. If I had an addition symbol, then that means I'm adding more, so that means I'm going to the right of the number line. So now, in our example 2, I have my number line again, but now I have another equation. I have 1 minus 5 equals -4. So I started off with 1. I'm taking away 5. That means I'm going to the left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I ended up with -4. Because that subtraction symbol means that I'm going to the left on the number line. Now, if I had an addition symbol like this one, it means I'm going to the right of the number line. I have -2, so I'm starting off with -2, and I'm adding 5 to -2, so that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I ended up with +3. And then I have -1, so I'm going to start off with 1. I'm subtracting 2 from -1, so that means I'm going to the left 2 more spaces, and that ends me at -3. So it's important to look at your symbols as well, because this will tell you which way you're going on the number line, what you're taking away, or what you're adding to that previous number. So now we have our try on your own. So I want you to pause the video, and I want you to practice these. Do 20 minus 30. What are you going to get? Or 2 minus 5. What are you going to get? 5 minus 10. What are you going to get? So pause the video for 7 minutes to finish out these problems, and we'll be back and we'll go through the answers. Okay, so now that you're back and you've finished the problems, we know that 20 minus 30 is going to be -10. And 2 minus 5 is going to be -3, and 5 minus 10 is going to be -5, and so on. These are the answers to the rest of the problems. 4 minus 10 is -6. You're always going to have a negative number if this second number is bigger than the first number. If you've noticed here, 20 minus 50 is -30, because 50 is a bigger number than 20, and you're subtracting it from 20. So that is going to give me a negative number. Okay, so now that we know what a negative number is, what does it mean to have a opposite of a number? So let's look at our number line. We start off with 0 on our number line, and we fill in the rest of the spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, and -1, -2, -3, and -4. Let's say I start out with the number 4. And I want to find the number opposite of 4. So from 0, I go to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So to find the number opposite, I have to go to the left of the 0 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives me -4. So the number opposite of +4 is -4. Now, let's try another number. Let's say we have -2. We go from the 0 left 2 times. So 1, 2. That gives us -2. If we went to the left 2 times, that also means we have to go to the right 2 times. 1, 2. And that's going to give us 2. So the number opposite is 2 from -2. Basically, is what it's saying is that you're just switching the sign in front of the number. So if there's no sign, that means it's positive. It's to the right of 0. So the number opposite of it is going to be -4. If you have a number -2, you just have to switch that sign. So the opposite number of -2 is +2. There's no sign here because we already know that 2 doesn't need a sign. In order to tell the difference between both numbers, you have to have the negative sign in front of the number. So let's try some more. So let's say we have the number 30 and we mark it on our number line. Now we want to find the number opposite of that. So then you're going to mark -30 because it's 30 is 30 units to the right, so we need to go 30 units to the left to find the number opposite because we're going to opposite way. So that gives us -30. So now we have -10. We're going to do that on our number line. So now that we're going to the left 10 units, we have to go to the right 10 units. So that gives us +10. So the number opposite of -10 is +10. And then we have 20. That means we went to the right 20 from 0. So now we need to go to the left 20 from 0. So that's going to give us -20 is our number opposite. You should start seeing a pattern here. So I want you to try it on your own, and I want you to find the number opposites of these numbers. So pause the video for 5 to 7 minutes if you need time to get these answers. Okay, welcome back. So we know that the number opposite is just changing the sign in the front of the number. So if we have number 3, we know that the sign opposite of positive is going to be negative, so we should have -3. We have -1. We want the opposite sign in front of it, so we're going to have +1. We have +2, so then we should have a -2. We have +17, so we should have a -17. We have a -33, so we should have a +33, and so on. So check your answers. Pause the video for 2 minutes to check your answers and make sure you got it right. And just know that number opposites are the opposite of, is basically the sign is the opposite of the number. You're not changing the number at all. You are changing the sign. The opposite of positive is negative, and the opposite of negative is positive. So again, our agenda today was our objectives. I can find a negative number, and I can find a number opposite. So today we found how to find a negative number. When we subtract a number that's larger than the first number, it's going to give us a negative number. We know how to locate it on a number line, and we can find the number opposite. It's just changing the sign in front of the number. We have some games that you could play here. It's going to be in your learning guide, but we have orbit integers and comath. Practice those to get more practice on your negative numbers and your number opposites. I hope you guys had a good lesson today, and I hope you come back to see more lessons that we've done. And if you need more time catching up too, go and visit some previous videos, but come back and see us again tomorrow. Or the next lesson we're going to be doing is we're going to be learning about how to order negative numbers from least to greatest. That is our next lesson. So I hope you guys have fun and come back and see us. Bye.